Well, I don't know how good this is going to show up on here. I came across this video last night, and there's no talking in it because it's Japanese. So I have to say, I have been watching so many videos about making these organite things, although this one, well, I guess it is organite because it does have the crystal, and it seems like to have the crystal, especially where it's wrapped in copper and then pointing up, is supposed to be one of the main parts of, how the energy is distributed, through the device. I mean, if you want to call it a device. But the reason why I went ahead and I basically recorded this video, so I took a movie of it so that I would be able to just watch it when I'm not online, is because I was so intrigued by this mold. And then, what he created here really is more just a work of art, because I don't think it has any organic stuff in it. Although I have, one of the videos I was watching was saying that the resin is organic. And of course, organic means it has carbon in it. Anything with carbon. Oh, and then I want to, it's like, where can I buy one of these little light table things, that, and I looked all over the internet. I couldn't find anything like this. But, so then what I ended up doing is, I went on Amazon and I did find a pyramid mold that you can make like one at a time. And I can't, from the dimensions, I can't remember what I think it's a little bit bigger than this one. So this is Japanese, and that's basically why it doesn't have any sound. Yeah, so I'm just, but I want one of those molds. So, anyway, I have gotten so confused because I'm watching like video after video of, people like saying, oh, this is the best way to do it, that's the best way to do it, you need to, this is the science behind it, this is, I'm listening to my intuition that's telling me, to do it this way. It's like even this little, thrown together kind of stuff from Dollar Tree, it seems like, well, I'm getting results from it, although, I went out and I did some shopping today. I went bargain hunting. So I went to, these are from Joann Fabrics. And the thing I like about these, is the American Indian symbol. So I'm going to take them apart, and then when I start making my little pyramids, I'm going to stick them in on the sides a little bit. And then I found this, like, this is kind of intriguing, this little hand thing. And then I found these little crystals. I don't know if I can do this while I'm looking through the lens, but these little crystals ended up fitting perfectly into the palm of the hand. And so I have a whole little dish of these things now, and they actually have adhesive on the back, so you pull that off, and then, so I'll be able to make them double-sided. And then I learned how to make these, the double spiral. But I'm even getting a lot of controversy about this, saying that it should be spread out more, or some people say it should be really tight, and then, you know, it should be more of like a cone shape or, you know, whatever. Okay. And then I got this a few years ago, and it's supposed to put out, why can't I think of it now? Scalar waves. Yeah, I think this is a scalar wave generator. But while I was looking at all this other stuff, you know, about, you know, organite and whatever, so then this starts showing up, and it's like, oh, well, I have one of those, you know, and I thought they were good for you. Well, then this guy puts it on top of a Geiger counter, and it's actually putting out radiation. And he said, you know, these are dangerous. These will give you cancer. And then, you know, there's other sites where I was, you know, listening, and they said, oh, we've had wonderful health, you know, healings from these, and, you know, these testimonials about all this kind of stuff. And then I have been wearing this amber necklace for several years now, and amber, when it's against your skin, is supposed to help with pain control. And the way that the thing that convinced me about it is I was once again, you know, doing my research through the internet and YouTube and whatever, and people were having success with babies that were teething. So they would give them these necklaces, and you know, let them sort of teeth on them, and it would soothe them and take away their pain and their crying and everything. So it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to start wearing this now. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, I've got aches and pains that, you know, for one reason or another, from, you know, my work lifestyle and all this other kind of stuff. And so, what was it, 2 days ago, I woke up with just a terrible pain and swollen ankle. And it's in my bad leg, because it's the one that, well, you know, from standing for 35 years doing hair, of course, I got varicose veins. And then I've had problems with, you know, they'll bleed. You know, it's like, then you get like pooling in your ankles and, you know, whatever. And so then when I had the, well, you know, I had the valve surgery with the heart and all that, and then I had AFib, and then they put me on a blood thinner. And then, so, you know, it's like, well, the pooling in the ankle's gotten worse, you know, since I take the blood thinner, and I don't like to wear support stockings, you know, I just, they're uncomfortable, sometimes they can be hot, you know, and stuff like that. So, oh, let me show you some artwork I did too. But, so anyway, I go see my cardiologist a couple months ago, and I showed him my ankle. You know, I mean, it looks black and blue, and, you know, it doesn't hurt or anything, but, you know, he said, or I asked him, well, can I get off the blood thinner? And then he said, well, let me go look at your chart. So he goes and he looks at my chart, and then this is a guide thing that I just put together today. I don't know if I'm going to explain that, but that was part of my, you know, search, my scavenger hunt today. That, you know, because I wanted to be able to make a grid, and so they make these plastic things for people to do needlepoint on. But for me, it's like very crude needlepoint, because I've done really fine needlepoint. So, but what was it? Oh, this one, I was trying to lay the dots out, you know, evenly, but they weren't even. So, you know, it's like, I mean, it's more organic because it's got a lot of movement to it. But then I was frustrated because, you know, I wanted to have a grid like this. So then I laid down this grid, and I just finished this one, you know, while I was watching, quite frankly. And so, but, you know, if you look at them side by side, I like the one better that is not perfect. You know, it's much more interesting to look at, and it gives your eye a lot more stimulation. So, so anyway, so, you know, the cardiologist went off and, you know, read the chart, and he came back and he said, well, I'm sorry to tell you that the doctor that did the ablation for your AFib said that you had two things going on with your heart. You had the arrhythmia, and then you had a fibrillation, and they were in different parts of your heart. And even though they're both taken care of now, and you know I'm taking, you know, some medication to keep my heart in rhythm and, you know, keep me calmed down and, you know, whatever. But he said, no, you know, this stuff can come back, and we really, you know, we just we want to make sure that, you know, when it comes back, if it comes back, I mean, you know, that you know, your blood's thinned out enough so that you won't get a stroke. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess I'll stay on it then. I'd rather have, you know, like what looks like bruising on my ankles than have a stroke. So anyway, but, you know, to sort of like, okay, I've got all these things here for pain, you know, but the thing that worked the best, ice. You know, like yesterday, I think it was on Saturday, I started icing it, and then it was still uncomfortable on Sunday. And one of the people that works here, Bob, who lives down the hall, he likes to play horseshoes, and so they have some horseshoes out there. And this is, you know, I was out there, you know, like pounding rocks, making big rocks into small rocks, and so he comes over. And he says, what are you doing? So I started telling him all about, you know, like, oh, there's this energy, this chi, this prana, this, you know, it's like they call it orgone, and I'm, you know, working on making these orgonite transmitters and transformers and stuff like that. And so he says, oh, you're pretty scientific. And I'm like, well, I do have a degree in chemistry. And so he said, do you want to play some horseshoes? So it's like, sure, what the heck, you know. So I went over and we played horseshoes for a while. But, you know, my ankle was really bothering me. So I come back in the house, and for the rest of the evening, I'm icing it. Well, didn't you know it felt better this morning? So it's like... And, you know, and I went into the deep water in the pool today, and I just, you know, did some of that. And then I think all the walking that I did today, because I went to Walmart too, and there was a lot of walking in Walmart. And, you know, I ended up just going, like, trying to find little plastic cups, you know, that I want to mix my resin in. And I haven't, you know, it's got to be a good day where I can do it outside, because, you know, it's a toxic, carcinogenic, you know, the smell is really bad. And in fact, there was a time where, when I was working in Georgetown and I was studying with the colorist, it was one of those real upscale salons on M Street, right near Wisconsin. And we had a nail tech down there that was doing acrylic nails. It just about drove me out of the salon. The smell was so bad. So so here I am. You know, I'm going to be working with acrylic polymers now, and should I wear a respirator? Anyway, we're coming up on 14 minutes here, so I'm just... I guess you could say I'm ranting, but anyway, I got a lot of information out. And so, which one do you guys like? Talk to you later.